When it comes to comic books, folks, how low will you go? What I mean by that is, how low of a grade are you willing to accept? We all know that I don't mind. Well, I prefer to have a perfect 10 or a 9.8, but I go down as low as coverless books. However, let's talk if the book has a cover or a partial cover. What books in your collection do you have that are so low that you'll probably consider them a no graded book or at least a very, very low grade book, but you still covet them among the most prized possessions in your collection? Do you have any like that? For example, for example, I have Daredevil number two, and you think, it doesn't look so bad. It's actually probably a 1.0, and the reason is if you see down below right here, I kind of replace it. The structural integrity of this book was really compromised. So I actually did have to reinforce it with some archival tape. And I'm going to show you the kind of tape I use. But if you notice right down there's a slight color difference. And that's because I use Photoshop. I got a copy or an image of this little section of the book, and I replaced it virtually perfectly with archival tape. But again, it's not like I'm trying to deceive anybody. This is one, it's for my own collection, and two, otherwise the book is compromised structurally. So I wanted to repair it, and I did it with archival tape. I believe with CGC, I guess you would probably consider it a restoration, and certainly an amateur restoration. But the fact is, I use archival tape, and it is really preserving. If anything else, it's preserving this book. But so that's what I mean. How low will you go? And I'm going to show you some more examples. Now, before I do that, let me show you the kind of archival tape I use. When I'm doing any kind of repair like that, I use document repair tape. So this is almost like that rice paper product, and you have to peel it off. It's so delicate. And then you peel the backing off of like any other sticker, and it really preserves it. It's acid free, and I think when you use this, certainly it's reversible. So again, it's just me being OCD, trying to preserve my books as much as possible, especially when I get them that are so unsound structurally. But I just want to make them look a little better. I want them to not fall apart when I touch them, and I use this document repair tape. I forget when I bought this. I probably bought it like 10 years ago, maybe even longer. And at the time, it wasn't that expensive. That's how I like to do my repairs. The next book, which didn't require any archival tape, so the book is sort of sound. It's complete. However, it is a rough copy. In fact, it's so rough, I think the cover the cover is loose. The staples are barely affixing it, and somebody drew on it so horribly. Clearly, they weren't happy with Captain Marvel that day. So, but this is the Golden Age Captain Marvel number 3, published in 1941. I love this book. Look at that. But clearly, it's a little faded, and somebody wrote on the cover. It's awful. It's awful. But what are you going to do? But I ended up getting this at a store that I think they're in Albany, New York now. They're Excellent Adventures, and they used to be in Pemberton, New Jersey. Maddie and John. So if they're still alive, if they're still in business, and they should be in Albany, New York now. If you ever get a chance to see them, they always have magnificent inventory. But again, I got this decades ago at a store called Excellent Adventures, and they used to be in Pemberton. Another book, and I love it, and I think you guys know I like the Good Girl books, right? I enjoy the art, I enjoy the cover. This is missing some pages, so I mark it off as qualified, right? Qualified, but this is Katy Keene number 31. But look, the condition of this book is amazing. It really is truly a beautiful copy of this. I think when I was looking at heritage auctions, I was just seeing what what some of the high watermark books of Katy Keene were, and they were around the 8.0 that they were selling. So I mean, you look at this, the cover is magnificent. Unfortunately, it's missing a couple of pages. That's some of the wraps are out, and you know what are you gonna do? But Katy Keene number 31, really am a big fan of this. And you know, a little trivia: I heard Katy Perry, the musical artist, right, the singer. I heard she does a lot of her poses based on Katy Keene. So, is that true? I don't know, but that was probably some YouTube channel I saw or something like that. But Katy Keene number 31. Check this one out. I love the colors on this. This is another book that's missing some wraps. I ended up getting it at the same time. This is Katy Keene number 27. The other book was, the number 31 was an 8.0. This is an 8.5. Again, qualified, right? Because it's missing a couple of pages, a couple of wraps in there, but look at the colors on that. It is so beautiful. That is a vivid looking, colorful cover. So Katy ice skating. I look at this and I'm amazed that a book from 1956 just presents so well. If it only had the wrap. And a matter of fact, I think in Heritage Auctions, when I looked at their website, I believe an 8.5 was the high water mark. So, you know, this book, if it had all of its wraps, boy, this would have some value. But Katy Keene, I like it. Great colors. Great colors. Wow. Okay, now, when it comes to Golden Age books, while I know everybody realizes I would love the old timely books, I would love the old Atlas books, I also enjoy DC. And if you've heard me before, you know Golden Age Green Lantern is among my favorites. Now, this doesn't show the top half ripped off because I put on top of it one of those fake facsimile wraps for the cover. So it looks like it's complete. It actually looks really good. It presents amazing. But this is a wrap. This is not coverless. So this was one of those books that the distributors or the stores, they were getting a refund. They tore the top off. So the title, the top like fifth, if you're measuring a fifth of the cover, the top with the title was ripped off. So they cut it, ripped off. So the bottom part of the cover and all the back covers there, I still mark it as a no grade. I think CGC might even mark this as a 0.5 or a 0.8 now, but I didn't measure the exact size, and I already made my label. But this is one of my prized comics. I just love the Golden Age Green Lantern. I always liked him because, again, he has a cape, right? I just like the color scheme. But this is Green Lantern, Golden Age Green Lantern number 34. Even though it has maybe 4/5 of the cover present, I have it marked off as a no grade. But doesn't it look good with that fake wrap? It looks really good. Golden Age Green Lantern number 34. Missing wraps seems to be a big theme in my in some of my low grade collections. So this is Superman number 7. This book has seen better days. I would say if you're looking at it from a qualified perspective, right? I mark it off as qualified. It is a 3.0. It presents pretty well. It has some stains on it, but it's missing the wrap. What wraps? It's boy, I think it's missing pages 19, 20, 21, and 22. So those handful of wraps. Hey, if anybody has the wraps for these and they can put me in contact with somebody who does, please hit me up. I'd be really interested in somehow completing this book. It's just such a shame. This is my oldest Superman book, and published in 1940. Cool cover too. I think this is when they were drawing Superman. Look at him. He's looking beautiful. So anyway, Superman number 7. I'm going to stop here for a quick moment to thank our sponsor, Mark from ComicSkin.com. As you say, a lot of these books that I'm showing you are in Comic Skins just because they're my favorite books. They're the most coveted, some of the most coveted books in my collection. If you want to get a Comic Skin and get 5% off, Mark says in the checkout area, under coupon code, please put John the Comic Guy 5. John the Comic Guy 5. And claim your 5%, and that'll go and apply for the singles, the 5-packs, and the 10-packs. And what you can do is you're going to have to pick the well in which you could put a comic in that slides into this Comic Skin, and you could either pick a Golden Age, Silver Age, Modern book. So it's quite simple. So check out their website, John the Comic Guy 5, to claim your 5%. Mark, thank you so much for doing that. But in this particular case, you see, what I do with my labels, just to kind of make it look better, is I try to color code the colors of the label, and look at that. I think I do quite a good job. But again, qualified 3. This is Superman number 7. Last but not least, out of these books, and it kind of hurts me to show you this, I got this so long ago, and I noticed the value of this has always been high, and I ended up getting this in a trade. So I don't believe I even paid cash for this. I forget what I paid for in a trade. It might have been like $50 or $25, but this is X-Men number 4. We all know this book is pretty widely sought after. Now, why? This is not a qualified grade, by the way. This is a 2.4. However, let me show you what I did with it. That little corner on the bottom. See that little triangle that's a little lighter? Again, I did this with Photoshop, and again, I used this with the archival tape. I put, I printed out a corner to replace that missing piece, and I affixed it with the archival tape. Simply because, again, I don't care. This is my collection. I enjoy it. I could do anything I want with it. And I put that little corner on, and it looks pretty complete. And again, I measured it, used the CGC guidelines. So this is still considered a 2.5 because look at the front cover. It is a beautiful copy. It's just missing that little triangle in the back, and what are you going to do? It hurts me to look at that because otherwise this book would be such a nice high-grade book. But hey, that's why I got it for a song, right? I got it cheap years ago, and X-Men number 4. I figure I'd close the show on that. So everybody, that is how low John the Comic Guy will go. I will go pretty low in my comic collection, and you know, I think maybe the next episode, let's go even lower, shall we? But anyway, everybody, if you like this content, if you know anybody who would enjoy this content, please let them know about me. Hit the subscribe button, and I appreciate you joining me. Thank you much.